Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Let's stay with Chase for a while, Joy, because he comes from this new group of cricketers who may be perceived as more suited to the longer format of the game, and Chase admits that. But he's in the last 12 months or so, he's consciously been trying to reinvent himself. We saw him in the Caribbean for St. Lucia, and both with bat and ball, he was looking to do things slightly differently to adapt.
No, that's a pretty decent strike rate. 144 in conditions which are often sluggish. 450s in 12 matches. That's a very, very decent set of figures out there. And I think, look, if you're a really class quality batsman, you can adapt. It's not that he doesn't have the power. It's just mentally looking at the game slightly differently. And the top players in the world, whether it's a Jacques Kallis or a Sachin Tendulkar, found ways to adapt whenever they found a new format. It may take them a little longer if it doesn't come to them naturally, but there's no reason that you can't have top quality batsmen play, to adapt to a different format. I like this also because, even Lewis and with Gayle is, Lewis always goes from ball one. He really doesn't bother about it. He's going to go from ball one no matter what the situation is. It gives Chris Gayle that 7, 8, 9 balls. If you see Chris nowadays, he doesn't go from ball one. He likes to get a sense of the pitch. He'll, pat 3, 4 balls back. He'll get a sense of, okay, this is how much the ball is doing. And he can afford to do that because Lewis is just such an attacking player up front that Lewis will be attacking. So that's why it probably works. So, I know there's a whole thing about left-handers and right-handers mixing it up and all that. But no, you've got to make the best of whatever you have. And I think exactly as Michael said, if you have Chris Gayle in a team, you cannot bat him. You have to open with him. Because if he comes in at 3 or 4, he could chew up balls. He could do a whole lot of things. But opening 7 times out of 10, if he gets going, he'll give you a fantastic start.
There's also a sense of familiarity, Michael, because even in the CPL this year, the Patriots sort of broke up that marriage of Gayle and Lewis for a bit. They tried Devon Thomas up the order. Then they realized 3, 4 games into the tournament, no, if they're both in the same lineup, let them open. And it worked.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. When you've got players like Evan Lewis, you've got Chris Gayle, particularly Chris Gayle, that, if you leave Crystal potentially coming in after the power play, when you have to be kind of running 1s and 2s more frequently, he's not a spring chicken. He's not going to be sprinting between the wickets. So you want to maximise the boundary potential that you have of Chris Gayle, which is the first 6 overs. And if he only bats the first 6 and gets you 30, 40 quickly, there you go. He's off to a fly. And then if he gets out in the 7th or 8th, there's plenty of power in that middle order and probably quicker running between the wickets that can create more of an impact. So, yeah, I think it's quite... it was strange when I saw Chris Gayle bat at number 4. I just didn't quite see that.
In any of the tournaments, it happened in the IPL as well, and we were crying out for him to be up the order. I remember this time in the Caribbean, I was asking him, Chris, because you've been batting in different positions, how do you adapt to sort of running a few 2s in that middle phase? And he just turned around and said, what's a 2? He said, Chris Gayle don't know 2s. He had that laughter of his that I've been trying to get right forever and I can't.
No, Chris is a character, and Chris. See, that's the great thing about Chris. What I think Michael's hit upon some very basic points. One is know your player. Boundary hitting. Where is the best chance of hitting boundaries? First 6 players in. And that's exactly what Chris is. I mean, Chris, with that much power, for him to go over the top is not difficult at all. Even if it's a spinner bowling, there's no bowler that Chris can't hit over the top in the first 6. And all he needs is 6, 7, 8 balls to settle down. But just like Michael's clear about his game, I think, to be honest with you, Chris is very crystal clear about his game. He's very clear about what he can do and what he can't do at this stage in his career. So he's a smart, intelligent guy. Don't get that wrong either. And he's understanding that if I'm batting at number 4, I'm just a liability to the team if I have to run so much. So he knows what he's doing out there. If they have the sense to let him bat in his normal position, which they have today, I think, whatever it is. And it shouldn't be a one-match thing saying, okay, you've done it. Okay, it's not working. Let's go back to something else. Give him a run. Give him a run of 2-3 matches here. And I think you'll see results.